everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Flock's Nest Sports Podcast. As always, I am one of your hosts, Dallas, repping 52 of the Baltimore Ravens, Ray Lewis.
As always, I'm the other half, Brendan, repping 54, Bobby Wagner of the Seattle Seahawks.
We have got a really great episode for you guys today. Obviously, we still have playoff basketball and hockey going on, so we're going to talk that. Got some breaking news in the NFL. We have the schedule release. We're going to talk all things that and continue our conversation of the NFC West with 49ers and Cardinals today. We'll talk a little WNBA. We're going to do all the stuff, so we might as well jump right in with NFL breaking news. Brendan, let's kick us off.
So, some quick housekeeping in the NFL breaking news department. Brock Purdy got his new contract. He has been extended by the San Francisco 49ers. It comes in as a 5-year, $265 million contract. Not all of it's guaranteed. I believe like half of it was like a little more than that.
181.
181. Close enough. 181, so pretty decent amount. It does come with a full no trade clause as well. And I do believe that is something that kind of took the price down, but it gave him security of the future, so he was willing to negotiate the price a little more. I think that's why it came in a little lower than most people were expecting. At 53 a year is what I think AAV comes out to be. So a little less than people were kind of expecting, but I think it's just because of what was added to the contract for him.
So he comes in at like 7. He and Jared Goff are tied at 7th for highest paid. But he comes in at like only 18 or 19. I've seen like one report that's 18, one that's 19. 18-19% of the cap. So with the cap going up, I think this is a really friendly deal. Team friendly and Brock Purdy friendly. I think both, got what they wanted out of it. He's getting a massive pay increase, obviously. The thing that I always kind of look at when quarterback-specific contracts come out is timing. Like, what kind of pushed this forward? Like Lamar's contract a couple years ago. I know it was the day of the draft, but really what was important was it was 3 days after Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
So what that tells you is they genuinely weren't sure what the market was supposed to be. When you look at contracts like Brock Purdy right now, it's what's the timing? In my opinion, I think the Niners wanted a little lower. But seeing the schedule release, if you've looked at the Niners schedule, it is really easy. It's one of the easiest in the NFL in terms of strength with their opponents and everything.
That's what happens when you're last.
If he goes off, if he goes off next year and has a great season, that's more of an argument for like 60 a year.
So I believe it was reported that his original asking price was 65, which is never going to happen.
That's ridiculous.
But also fair enough.
But if you go out there, you go out there, you have an MVP season, you make the playoffs, you contend, maybe you're the 1 seed. It's harder to argue with that. So that's kind of what I saw in this contract. I said 55 is what I would have given him.
I think
you and I texted about this.
I think that's why it ended up being 53. I think it would have been 55 had there not been a trade clause. But with that no trade clause,
I mean, outside of the Cowboys, no trade clauses are really common in quarterbacks' contracts.
I don't
know. Lamar, Burrow, Hurts, they all.
I mean, the top
Herbert,
ones,
Lawrence. I think Tua. They all have no trade clauses. It tends to be pretty commonplace in
Are there
quarterbacks.
Limited trade clauses or full no trade clauses?
I think all of them are no trade clause unless like they give an approval. Like they have to waive it.
Okay.
So
Because I
yeah,
don't know if there's a. Yeah, I
you
don't know how
straight up.
many.
Oh no, you paused.
I just don't know how many.
Um,
Yeah, really, the only ones that come up are Lamar, Hurts, Mahomes, and Purdy. Are the ones that have.
Burrow had one.
I think he might have a limited
Gotcha.
no trade clause.
Yeah, it's. I would have said 55, so I think 53, perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Perfectly reasonable. I think he's more than earned it. He vastly outplayed his previous contract.
Yeah, and is he a $53 million quarterback? No, but in relativity to what other people are making, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Like,
I think he's closer to his than Tua or
that's my
Lawrence or
point
even
of like,
Herbert are.
that's my point of like, is he a $53 million quarterback? No. But truth be told, there's a lot of like 55 million quarterbacks that aren't worth that either.
Or not.
So at least
Yeah.
overall, the 49ers are doing well with a more team friendly deal. I still don't like it for them because they have other issues on that roster, and paying a quarterback like Brock
I mean,
Purdy,
again,
I don't know if it's going to
he's
get you where you want to be. But at this
he's
point,
only 18% of the cap. He comes in at a really small percentage. That puts him
no, yes,
at 12th or 14th
I don't
in
disagree
terms of
with that.
highest cap percentage.
I still just don't think with where
So,
that team is, Brock Purdy's going to get them anywhere.
I don't know. I've seen him do plenty. I think he's done a lot with that team. I know we want to yell about weapons. I would like you to point me to a quarterback that can do it without weapons. All anybody wanted to fucking talk about last year was how Josh Allen didn't have the right weapons. Like, there's not a single quarterback out there that doesn't need somebody they can rely on. And
I'm
it's not even that, like, one guy was hurt for Purdy last year. The whole freaking roster was hurt, and he's working with third string guys, and they're like, well, he's not throwing the ball well. Well, no shit. No shit.
Yeah, so I don't know. Again, I think it's fine for both sides. If I'm a 49ers fan, I think it's fine. I might not be in love with it, but at the end of the day, you have to pay your
I think,
quarterback that got you to a Super Bowl, or not, a NFC Championship.
and a Super
And a
Bowl.
Super Bowl. He was the Super Bowl, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Because I thought he wasn't.
No.
Yeah, he did.
He
Yeah.
You got
Because it
them
was
to the
hurt the year
NFC
before,
Championship game,
and he got hurt,
then
and
got
then
hurt
led them to
to
Super
the
Bowl the next.
Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to pay him.
So
Like at the end of the day,
that's more than
a lot of quarterbacks in the league.
95% of quarterbacks in the NFL right now. So,
So again, I'm not saying that it's a bad. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, I think this contract will age well, just in terms of how much quarterbacks are going to get paid in the future.
yeah.
It just might be a little much for Brock Purdy. But at the end of the day, every quarterback contract is too much for who they are. Like, let's be honest.
I mean, that's fair.
Like, the highest paid quarterback should not be the highest paid quarterback in the league.
I'm telling you, I wish like quarterbacks were like the superstars in the NBA.
Yeah, the supermaxes.
Where like you have to meet certain criteria
Yeah, and that does not
to
exist.
make certain amounts. So that's how I would fix the NFL.
Well, we'll get to some other things that happened with voting because the owners' meetings are happening.
Yeah.
And something did come out today. But continuing on with the more housekeeping stuff, the 49ers continued their run of extensions, extending Fred Warner, their pretty much all pro, all NFL linebacker. He got a 3-year, $63 million contract. So it's pretty solid. That makes him the highest paid linebacker in the NFL. $21 million a year for a linebacker is a little crazy, but when you're that good, you're that good.
Yeah. I mean, look, the only thing I'm going to say is I find it really funny. The 49ers came out the end of last year and were like, we don't need to be the team paying everybody top of the market at everything. and then you made Kittle the highest paid tight end, Fred Warner the highest paid linebacker. So we met everybody but Purdy.
Yeah.
We can make the highest paid.
And honestly, I think if they made Purdy the highest paid, that would have been a real problem.
That's ridiculous. I'm just saying, you're not as being stingent as you led us to believe you were going to be.
Yeah. But,
Now, what I will say, I commend the 49ers for, like, the first time ever not having contract drama going into training camp.
Yeah. I don't think anyone on that team desperately needs one now, because Williams is taken care of, Warner's taken care of, Kittle's taken care of, Purdy's taken care of. Ayuk got taken care of last year. Debo's not there. So I think they're set up, and I think Bosa still has a couple years left. Bosa's the next one, I think. So he's still got time, but he's coming up here soon. But we'll get into that in a little bit. And then one last extension, not by the 49ers. The Philadelphia Eagles gave a multi-year extension to Nick Sirianni. They don't have to release the payment info, so we know nothing about the amount of years or how much he's making. You don't have to release that for coaches, so they didn't. But we know he got a multi-year extension with the Eagles. Obviously, coming off the back of a Super Bowl makes some sense. So, there you go. Eagles keep Sirianni.
I mean, until they give him a reason not to.
Yeah, you just won a Super Bowl.
The Eagles are, like, if he misses the playoffs next year, there's a good chance they fire him. Like, that's what the Eagles do. I think he has earned an extension. Happy for him. He's a little crazy, but he fits Philly really well. I think he's done a good job of keeping the chaos that is that locker room pretty well in check. And being able to keep the main thing, which is winning, the main thing. So, yeah, good for him.
Won a Super Bowl.
I think for the most part, though, like, until they're not like the Mike McCarthy situation, coach contracts are the most.
Yeah, because
you can fire a coach. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
you still have to pay them, but you just fire a coach.
Like, it does eat into your caps, like, and how much your owner is willing to pay, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, you get rid of them, you get rid of them.
Yeah.
But he is, in theory, supposed to stay around for a little bit.
Colts or somebody paying like 4 coaches right now. It's crazy.
The Raiders, I think, are paying 3.
Yeah.
Maybe 4. Because they're paying McDaniels, Gruden, Pierce.
Oh, yeah, it's the Raiders.
Yeah, they're paying 4. Because they're,
and now Carroll.
Yeah. So, it's coaching.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter. And then the last bit of news does come from the owners' meeting. They are talking about the tush push. Nothing's been decided there, but they have decided to allow NFL athletes to compete in the Olympics for flag football. The owners have discussed that and are going to allow it. I don't know. It's one of those things. It's cool for the NFL players now, but there are athletes that have spent their whole lives playing flag football to get to the Olympics, and now might have that taken away for NFL athletes to do it instead. So
I think it's completely ridiculous. One, everything you just said. That. Like, it's their sport. They've grown it. They've done all those things. Back the fuck up. 2, what if you get hurt playing flag football? Like, you are an employee of the NFL. They have invested in you. So, I think it's ridiculous. Here's what I think. Just because the NFL approves it, does not mean flag football will say yes.
Yeah.
Like, they don't, like, you still have to try out for the team. You still have to qualify.
Yeah, you still have to make it. Obviously, the owners voted yes. Now, there could also be owners vote yes now, but come 2028, in the Olympics,
Yeah.
you're kind of sitting there going, yeah, you're not allowed to go. We're afraid of you getting hurt. Sorry.
Well, in team, like,
That's like teams can.
teams may go, no, we're not doing that.
So,
So,
again,
yeah, I think it's ridiculous. I'm very
I don't
much
know.
against that.
I'm on the fence. It is what it like. Part of me is like, it's cool now for the NFL athletes that would never be able to do it to have a chance now if they wanted to. But at the same time, I think you need to like have
You
like.
have your own sport.
But there's something about the Olympics that I'm like maybe
But
allowing them.
it's not the same sport. You have a world stage that you sit on. There's no need
Yes,
for that.
I'm not.
Like,
But again, if that's their only chance to be in the Olympics, is their
so
only.
what? So what? You're not granted the right to be in the Olympics. It's something you have to work for. It's something you have to earn.
Yeah,
Go play fucking flag football then.
if they
Get out of the
earn it,
NFL.
but if they earn it by being in the NFL and still earn it on the field, then
You
I'm
have to
sorry.
earn it on that field. Being in the NFL is not enough to earn it.
If they go out, try out, and make it, then they've earned it on that field. I
I
don't
don't think you
know.
have.
I think you have.
I don't think you have. You haven't put in the time, the dedication, the work to that sport. I don't think you have.
I
It's not the
disagree on this
same.
one.
They're different sports.
Like again, I don't necessarily disagree that they're different, but I'm like, at the end of the day, now we're classing them as similar enough that NFL players are going to be able to. I think either way you look at it, people are going to get denied. I think it just shouldn't matter. Like,
And
if
that's fine.
you earn
We're
it,
going to disagree on this.
if you earn it, you earn it. Like,
I don't think you can. And that's where we disagree. And that's okay. But
no,
yeah, we disagree.
I think it should be whoever earns it, earns it. Whether you're an NFL player or a Joe Schmo off the couch that's been playing flag football. Yeah, sure. If you earn it, you earn it. Go play.
But you're talking about just like passing a qualifying is earning it. I'm not. That's where our difference sits. I don't think that's enough to earn it.
I think it like I understand that yeah, they haven't played, but they've been playing football still since they were kid. Like there
Different
is a
sports.
but like
I've played flag football. They're different.
they're different, but at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, your opinion is I don't care. That's your opinion. So,
because I just think they're close enough. If you're an athlete and you are a football player and want to compete in the flag football event,
and that's fine. It's fine for you to think that. I disagree with you. We can move on.
no. But yeah, that's where they're at with the league meetings. They've only passed one thing. I know the Lions thing is still being talked about with them like reseeding when they get to the playoffs rather than doing where they do reseeds rather than what they currently are doing. And then the tush push, I think, are like the main ones still left. But I don't know. It's going on like all week, so I guess we'll kind of hear what they decide. I think they can continue pushing it back until summer if they had to. But
did you see the like full new proposal from the Packers?
Yeah, that they changed it a little bit. I haven't read
So
all of it, but
basically it's like you cannot push it's back to like 2005. You cannot push a runner from the back at all. So even the down the field stuff, you can't do.
See, now that I feel like is stupid. But
I think now we're getting into excessive.
Yeah.
Like if you go the tush push isn't a football play, it's boring. Fine.
But we've been pushing people.
Yeah, for like 20 years.
Like that's been just part of the sport. And that's at least a play. Like it's not even a play, it's just what happens.
Yeah, that's
like,
football.
You have someone trying to tackle somebody and you have the offensive lineman going, "We think you can still go."
Like, so Yeah, that's their new proposal, basically. Is it just...
Okay,
I think, in theory,
that's a
the
step in the
thought
right.
process was the way it was currently worded,
This
it eliminated a QB sneak entirely.
this allows you to just not have the tush push, but still have a QB
You
sneak.
just can't have someone pushing Jalen Hurts from
So
the back.
this is how they're differentiating between the tush push and a QB sneak,
Yeah.
which is the wrong step, wrong direction.
Yeah, like now you affect other things that are football plays are
And now you're definitely getting denied.
probably.
Like, if you wanted it to happen, this was not the step to take. But whatever. I think it shouldn't be banned at this point anyway. So I don't
Yeah,
really care.
I think it's stupid. I think we're being babies about it.
Like,
You don't like it, learn to stop it.
pretty much. And
You don't
you
like it, get
can.
your own. Like,
And here's the
I don't
issue.
know what to
I
tell
think
you.
there are teams that I think have taken the approach of we're just going to stop it.
Yeah,
Like the
like
Buccaneers at this point have
the
two.
Ravens stopped it twice when they played them.
And like the Buccaneers went out, and I don't know if they were necessarily doing this to stop it, but they have Vita Vea, who's a large human, and then they signed the Florida D tackle that's like 6'3", like 400 pounds as a D lineman. Like,
Yeah,
that's somebody that can probably figure
push him. Good luck.
Yeah. So I'm like, that might not be necessarily to stop the tush push, but
I think the Ravens put Michael Pierce like right in front of his center, and they went, "Good luck."
yeah, like just put two nose tackles on the field at the end. Like, just
Like, you, I don't know. I get it. It's boring to watch. I get it. It doesn't feel like a
but
football play, but it's not getting them like 4 yards where they're just tush pushing the whole fucking game. Like, it's a QB sneak. It's whatever.
it's very good at getting a yard, maybe
Like,
two.
yeah, you could probably use it to get 2, but like,
But two sketchy.
just get over it. It's kind of my stance. But we'll see.
I think just get over it. But
yeah, they
if you ban
reworded it to basically
just ban it. I don't know.
Eliminate. You can't be pushed from the back anymore.
Yeah, by doing
It
that,
goes back to that.
they've kind of sealed the fact that it's not going to get banned.
Probably.
So
that would be my guess, because they voted to repeal that for a reason.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, that's pretty much all that's happening in the NFL. Couple extensions, couple of things to be voted on by owners, and that's pretty much where we're at. We're in the very dead part of the off season. So,
as always, we will come back to the NFL.
We will.
In the meantime, let's kick it over to hoops and talk the NBA.
Yeah.
I think round 2 of the playoffs is wrapped up.
Is wrapped up. Round 3, I believe, starts today. If I recall correctly. So we'll start out east. We'll go with the series that I believe ended first. The Pacers destroyed the Cavaliers. That the series went 4-1 in favor of the Pacers. It wasn't even close. Pacers are looking really good. Cavs were looking really bad.
Yeah.
Pretty much is all you need to know. Cavaliers sucked. Pacers moving on. To play the Pacers is the New York Knicks. They took care of the Boston Celtics 4-2. I think the last time we talked, it was 3-1. So the Celtics did sneak a game, even with Jason Tatum hurt. Jaylen Brown played very well in that game. But at the end of the day, it just wasn't enough. Knicks kind of had control of the series no matter what, and they finished it out. So Knicks moving on to face the Pacers in the conference finals. Should be a fun matchup. Not really sure who I got in that one. I think both teams are kind of evenly matched if you look at it. So it should be a really fun, solid matchup coming up in the Eastern Conference Finals.
I'm going to take the Knicks.
That's what I was thinking.
Um,
I don't know. The Pacers
I
are on this run that I just.
the Pacers are playing very well. Halliburton is doing great things. Um, I think the physicality leans a little bit in terms of the Knicks' favor, and that's pretty much it. That's all I got. I'm just going with the Knicks.
I think I'm leaning Pacers just because I think they're on this run of momentum of just like
That's fair.
they've been beating everybody and they've been beating them soundly in terms of like I think their last series was also 4-1. So they're just cruising through the playoffs, which could be bad. It could be once they hit an
Yeah.
actual team, could fall apart. But that's kind of where I'm at. And then out west, the Timberwolves dispatched the Warriors 4-1. That series wasn't
Yeah.
close once Steph Curry went out. Timberwolves just kind of said, "Yeah, that's not happening." No
Yeah.
Steph Curry. Warriors didn't stand a chance. Timberwolves get the win and are moving on to the conference finals. And then to play the Wolves, the Oklahoma City Thunder did beat the Nuggets in 7. Nuggets did well to get there, but at the end of the day, Aaron Gordon getting hurt, Michael Porter Jr. being hurt, just wasn't quite enough for the Nuggets to get Game 7. Um,
Well, and I think, like I was telling you, I think they're just kind of taking it one little section at a time. They really tried to win Game 5, and they lost. So then they had to go out and win Game 6,
and they did.
and then Game 7, and they did. And then Game 7 happened, and they were out. They had no energy.
And again, Aaron Gordon
They got
having,
destroyed.
I think it was a grade 2 hamstring strain, which is like normally a month of recovery. He went out there and tried to play Game 7. Didn't look good. Michael Porter Jr. had the shoulder strain. That's normally a
Didn't
month.
look good.
Didn't look good. He didn't look good all
So,
series. So I think had Gordon not gotten hurt, I think it would have been a better Game 7. I don't know if the outcome would have changed in terms of OKC winning. I just
yeah.
don't think Denver gets blown out by 30.
Yeah.
If
No,
Gordon,
I
because
agree.
I think that was just like took all the energy out of what Denver was doing. And at the end of the day, Denver just didn't have enough with 2 starters out. And I'll give Thunder a lot of credit. They came out, they played really good Game 7. Came out kind of flying, playing really good defense, and it just sapped any energy that the Nuggets had out.
They made some really good adjustments going into 7.
But again, Thunder, best team in the league, really young
Yeah.
team, kind of came out, showed why they were the best. So congrats to them. They're moving on. So as you said, conference finals start today. I believe it starts with the Thunder and the
Wolves
Timberwolves
today.
So that's today, and then I believe Knicks Pacers is tomorrow night. So might have to catch those. We'll see. Might be busy, but should be a fun conference finals. Kind of excited.
And I am picking the Thunder.
I'm also going to take the Thunder out of the West.
So,
Interesting
the
note.
Wolves really have not played well in these playoffs.
Yeah,
so,
they just
they've
kind of.
won. They haven't played well. So,
Interesting note. We will have somebody win, like a star in the NBA, win his first championship guaranteed, and it'll be the first time in a long time, maybe ever, that in 7 years there'll be 7 different champions in the NBA.
the first time ever.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure like the NBA tends to be a teams go on runs.
Dynasty.
So yeah, this is the first time that we'll have 7 winners in 7 years, which is I think really good for the NBA. If we're being honest, like it's nice to have a dynasty, but now with the parity, just anybody can win at any time. I think is a good thing.
I think it's better. I like it better.
I think it's nice occasionally to have a dynasty because it means something at that point.
I think like the thing about a dynasty that's nice is like when a team beats a dynasty, like it just feels a little bit more like you accomplish something more. But
and like again, dynasties are
at
something.
the end of the day, I like when different teams have a chance. I think,
Yeah.
to me, it means the league as a whole is getting better.
Yeah, the league. And again, if we have a dynasty, I want it to be an occasional dynasty where it's something like, oh my god, this team. We had a
Yeah.
dynasty for the first time in so long because this team was truly better than everybody else. But yeah, so I like it. I think it'll be fun, and I think it's good for the sport. Is pretty much where we're at. So yeah, basketball's going all right. Nuggets fans aren't happy, but it's going all right.
No, not thrilled. I'm
Lots
not
of
having a great. I haven't had a great year of playoffs. Is honestly what's going on here.
Yeah, no, it's been pretty rough.
All right. Well, then moving on to hockey. They also wrapped up round 2 of the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
Brennan, take us through that.
We'll start out west for this one. In the West, the Stars beat the Jets 4-2. Not really close.
No.
The Jets did get one back from 3-1 to make it 3-2. They were in it in Game 6. Went to overtime. Kind of a series of unfortunate events for the Jets, especially considering who committed the penalty that led to the game winner. Had to feel for him. But at the end of the day, Stars were just kind of better in this series. The Stars are really good, as much as it sucks, but
I hate it.
hopefully it'll come to an end here soon. Because who they're facing in the conference finals is the Edmonton Oilers, who beat the Vegas Golden Knights 4-1. The Oilers have been on one as of late. They've gotten help with their goaltending, which hasn't been really good all year. And it's finally starting to show up. And if their goaltending shows up, that team's very hard to beat with McDavid and Draisaitl, and the top end talent on that team. Again, is insane. So I think this Western Conference Final is going to be really incredible with both teams. Some superstars on both sides. I don't really know who I'm taking yet because it's a toss up for me.
I'm going Oilers.
I was leaning Stars, but it's such a toss up. I'm leaning Stars just because I think I trust their goaltending more over a larger sample size.
That's fair.
And
that's fair. I just don't know if I can bet against McDavid right now.
And that's where I'm the
and
toss-up.
What he's doing the last couple years within his career has been phenomenal.
And it's it's very similar to when McKinnon won the Cup. You've come so close so many times, and you just haven't won shit. And finally
getting it done. And so I can't bet against McDavid right now.
I'm struggling again. I think that'll be a great series. I kind of want to say whoever wins that one just will go all the way.
I think there's a good chance of that.
But we'll see. We'll move out east. The Carolina Hurricanes and the Carolina Hurricanes beat the Washington Capitals 4-1. Very boring series, nothing to write home about.
They didn't play well at all.
Neither team played well. The Canes just played better.
I don't think the Canes played better. I think the Canes just got more goals. Really
the Canes
what it looked
just
like.
made less mistakes is really what it came down to.
They were just like, we're not sucking, so
we don't suck. So we're getting it done. But yeah, it was a boring series. Just not really worth it. Which is interesting because I think the most eventful series was also in the East, and that was the Leafs versus Panthers. Panthers get the win in 7, and just destroyed the Leafs in Game 7 in Toronto. In Toronto too. So in Games 5 in Toronto and Game 7 in Toronto, the final score was 6-1 in favor of the Panthers. So Panthers just demolished them on home ice.
It was not. You feel really bad for the Leafs. You really do. But also,
it's a little funny.
You have to be better.
Which
at some point,
And
You
I
have
think
to be better.
what's better is I think this was the last year, and that core is going to get nuked.
Oh yeah,
I believe they had 2 UFAs in that core 4. I don't think either of them are coming back after this
no.
year. So
So
they've
no,
got some work to do. They've got some work to do.
it's unfortunate. You feel bad. It's a little funny, but you feel bad.
Yeah, it's funny because it's the Leafs, really. Any other
Yeah,
team, and you kind of be sitting there going, "This is just unfortunate. This is sad."
yeah. No, it's funny.
But it's the Leafs, so
If there are Leafs fans watching, we're sorry.
we do apologize.
Just
Um,
be better.
but at the end of the day, this probably does help you in the long run, because you can actually, you know, have a chance now without this core
Yeah,
4. Because I do think the core of that team was holding them back, and now that you kind of have to
I agree.
tear it apart, I think in the long run this will help Leafs fans. You just have to
It may
live.
take a year or two, but it gives you a chance to actually start building towards something.
You might just have to live with sucking, but I'm going to be honest. I think that'll be better than what they've been going through the past couple of years of being
Yeah,
like first and then just blowing it in the playoffs.
yeah.
Because that's always rough. So, you know, unfortunate for the Leafs, but congrats to the Panthers. So yeah, the Eastern Conference, Canes, Panthers. I'm taking the
Panthers.
Panthers. I don't think it'll be
It's not even
close.
close. No.
Um, the Panthers are the reigning champs for a reason, and they've been showing it. They've
And like we just talked about, the Hurricanes did not play well.
Yeah.
They won, but they didn't play well. The Panthers are playing phenomenal hockey. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you said, they're the defending champs. So dynasties are very rare in hockey, but back-to-backs are not uncommon.
Dynasties
So
don't have like winning 3 in a row. Rare as hell. Winning 2 in a
yeah,
row, not really. It's weird.
not rare. But usually, like when you win two, it takes a couple years to get back.
Yeah.
So, or to even really do well in the playoffs. But back-to-backs are pretty common. Panthers playing phenomenal hockey right now.
I would not be surprised, but
So,
again, I think it'll be really tough for them to beat anybody out west right now with the way those two teams are playing.
yeah.
So, obviously, hockey's been heating up. I don't know when the conference final starts. It might start today.
Thought it started
Might not
today or tomorrow.
start till tomorrow. It either starts today or tomorrow. As we're recording this, so it should be a good. It starts today. Florida and
It
Carolina,
does start today.
5 p.m. So
Unfortunate, but that's not worth watching.
yeah, no.
Like, okay, if they win one, I'll go back and watch that. I'll be curious, but this is just not worth it.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm not doing anything, I'll put it on.
I'll absolutely put it on. I just will not be paying attention at all.
Fair enough.
It's not.
Yeah,
It's there.
hockey's also going well. I think we're gonna have some fun end of the playoffs here. So
Heck yeah.
kind of see what happens.
It's always the best time of hockey. Like, you and I can watch regular season hockey easily. Nothing's on. Put on hockey. But playoff hockey is just different. It hits different. The energy level. The things y'all probably love about football, and playoff NBA, all of that applies to hockey kind of tenfold because you're allowed to fight. You're allowed to genuinely throw each other into the boards. So
you're genuinely allowed to want to like kill each other.
Yeah, and that aggression, and in 7 games, it gets hot fast.
So
it's hippie. I wish hockey players were mic'd up more. Like I think that would be great.
The problem is
you would have to put a warning label on it.
I think the issue is you would, if you were like going to do it, it would just be the bleep 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 bleep. You bleep 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 bleep. You bleep 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 bleep. Like there would be like 3 words that you're actually allowed to keep in from any conversation.
I would listen to that. But yeah, it's a great time. And I think the finals will be really good. I think the conference finals right now,
The West will be good.
the West is really exciting. The East, I would be shocked
If the Canes,
if it even goes to 5.
Yeah. I think the Canes.
6. I can see 5. I'd be shocked at 6.
I can see the Canes maybe getting a couple because again they've been playing really just disciplined hockey, and at the end of the day,
think it's going to be enough.
Disciplined hockey does get you at least a couple. Like that does get you wins.
Versus the Oilers, I think it's worth a win.
But yeah, that's
I think
it.
It's worth A.
Like it's worth a 1 or 2 wins at the end of the day.
So yeah, we will just have to wait and see.
Yeah, but I think that does it for the NHL. Not a ton is happening other than playoffs.
Well, then that kind of brings us a full circle. Obviously, we had the schedule release and some things happen, so I think we're going to circle back to football.
Yeah. You want to kick the Ravens off?
Sure, might as well. Couple things, kind of like Brendan said, housekeeping news to start. Henry did get a new extension. 2 years, $30 million, 25 guaranteed. I believe it's 15 the first, 10 the next. Yeah, locks him in for the next 3 years. His post-signing press conference was really encouraging. He really loved everything about Baltimore, the roster, the coaching staff, just the mentality, wanting to stay there, I think, coming up to the end of his career. So that's really awesome to see. I think it definitely feels unfinished to him. He doesn't have a Super Bowl. I think he's hoping to get that one in Baltimore. I'm hoping that too, but I really am. This is one of the things I really commend about Baltimore. They don't really fuck around with contracts. He outplayed the original. Needed to get him signed. We did it. We moved on. No reason to fuck about. Hopefully they will take the same mentality with Linderbaum. They don't fuck about. I like it. I respect it. We're doing the things we need to in the offseason. They also signed John Jenkins, a nose tackle, for 1 year. He's kind of bounced around the league a lot. It's not really uncommon for nose tackles, I'm going to be honest with you. I think it just kind of puts a veteran in that space. I'm not expecting a whole ton there. It was a spot that needs filled with Pierce retiring, but that's kind of it. All right, moving on to the Ravens schedule minutia. Preseason is Colts, Cowboys, Commanders. They pretty much always play the Commanders in preseason. I think there's a rule about it. I'm unclear. And they usually do joint practices with new ownership and everything. They did it last year. We'll see if they will continue that. Colts and Cowboys, preseason is one of those things. It doesn't matter, but it also does. The Ravens take a lot of pride in still trying to win. It's a lot of these guys' only time they see the field. You want it to mean something. You want it to matter. The Ravens rarely play a lot of their starters. Lamar is not likely to play. Andrews is not likely to play. We will probably see both kickers. So that will be interesting, unless someone far and away wins the job in training camp, but I would expect to see both through preseason. Probably get to see some motherfucker Starks and what he's doing and how he looks. So we'll probably see Green. Get to see a lot of the rookies. See if any UDFAs stand out. So awesome things there. And then into the regular season, they open Sunday Night Football at Buffalo. So that's exciting. They did something similar last year. They opened the season against the Chiefs. So to have them in, I think, a primetime spot opening the season is really great. The Ravens are kind of a dynamic team to watch. So I always like when they get those primetime spots. They do have 4 primetime games this season. That is a Sunday night, a Monday night, and Thursday nights, one of which is Thanksgiving, where they play Cleveland. They are the first and only team to have 3 away games in a row. Don't love that. Don't love that. Everyone else, it's like 2, whatever. It's not a ton of travel, but it jacks with the team's schedule. Makes it hard to stick to a routine. All the fun shit. So I don't love that. And then their bye week is week 7. It's also a little earlier than I like. The Ravens do get to pick. All teams get to pick. They tend to go a little later, so I'm a little shocked at that one, but it's what they're doing. I think the perfect one's like week 10, but there's just week 7, so we will see how that all plays out. They have a decently tough schedule. It's the 9th toughest in the NFL. I think I still hold true to my belief. I have not seen a team play their best football, and the Ravens play their best football, and the Ravens lose. The Ravens lose because they fuck around and find out. It's like, how many interceptions can we throw? How many holding penalties can we get? How many yards can the defense give up? It's always stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what this team will look like. I expect them to win the division. But at the end of the day, the Ravens' season starts in the playoffs. That's what matters. Also, not Ravens related. But if the NFL is rigged in any capacity, which it's not, but if it was, the goal of the year is to get Josh Allen the MVP. Because I don't know if anybody else didn't see that schedule. It's a bunch of bullshit. It's like the easiest fucking thing on the planet. If they're not the 1 seed, somebody done fucked up. It's insane. Anyway, would you like to now talk about the Seahawks?
Yeah, sure. If you're done. Where does Buffalo rank? Because I know the easiest schedule is actually the 49ers.
It's the 9th easiest in the NFL.
9th, okay. Like, I
Because
know.
I think like the Ravens are the 9th hardest, and the Buffalo is like the 9th easiest, or some shit like that.
Okay. I know the 49ers have the easiest, and I'm not happy about it, but
it is stupid easy. And don't get me wrong, part of it is their division.
I was like, their division doesn't help.
But like, their hardest games, I mean, okay, this would be true for anybody. Let me see if I can find it. If you want to talk Seahawks,
Okay.
I'll pull it up.
I don't really care that much, I'm going to be honest with you.
Well, you asked.
I just wanted to know if you knew roughly where they were at. I didn't think you would actually go find their schedule. Alright, well, the Seahawks had their schedule released at the same time, obviously. They got 4 primetime games. They got a Monday, a Sunday, 2 Thursdays, no holiday games, which is really nice for them. But they got quite a few primetime. So that's 4. Again, I believe it was 2 Thursdays, a Monday, and a Sunday. Yep. 2 Thursdays, a Monday, and a Sunday. They got a Thursday, week 4, against Arizona. A Monday, week 7, against the Texans. A Sunday, week 9, against the Commanders. And a Thursday, week 16, against the Rams. 2 home, 2 and away. So that's pretty good, too. Kind of just splitting their primetime games. So I think overall that's pretty good. in terms of schedule, they open with the 49ers and they close with the 49ers. So they get the 49ers at home to start the season. I don't mind that. I think that's a pretty good one. Kind of see where we're at. Good divisional game at home. Should be a good start. And then we end away at the 49ers. That could be interesting depending on what the end of the season looks like for the Seahawks. If they need to win it. If not, that could be kind of an interesting game. But other than that, I really like our schedule. They alternate a lot of a home and away. Like for example, home, away, home, away, home, away, home, bye, away, home, away, away, home, away, home, home, away, away. So a lot of alternating until kind of the back end of the schedule. So that's really good. They got a week 8 bye week. That's kind of in the sweet spot. I feel like I think anywhere from like week 8 to week 10 is like the sweet spot for a bye week. Kind of right there in that middle of the season, cut in at half, move on. I think their bye week also is really good. They got a Monday night football game, bye week into a Sunday night football game. So that's a pretty decent little chunk there. They have quite a few long weeks where they play Thursday into the Sunday. So that's also pretty decent. But yeah, I think their schedule is pretty solid. Nothing to write home about. Shouldn't be too difficult. I think their hardest opponent on schedule out of their division is the Buccaneers. So I would say the Buccaneers, the Texans, and the Commanders are their like kind of difficult ones out of division. And then obviously the Rams are always tough. The 49ers are going to be tough just because we're in division with them. But that's kind of it for where they're at. Regular season wise, preseason, they have the Raiders, Chiefs at home, and then the Packers away. So that's kind of a fun one. Obviously, with Pete Carroll coming back to Seattle with the Raiders for the first preseason game, that should kind of be really exciting. Kind of have some storylines there. I know McDonald wants to do joint practices. Pete Carroll never does them, and Andy Reid never does them. So the only possible one would be at Green Bay. So if they do joint practices,
Green Bay does them a lot.
It'll just be at Green Bay. I know Green Bay is probably the one, but I know Pete Carroll never does them, and Andy Reid never does them. So if we're gonna do them, it'll be that Green Bay game in Green Bay. That's where we're at. The schedule was kind of easy for the Seahawks, pretty decent, not too difficult. A lot of alternating home and away, which is really good. A couple where you got back-to-back away games, but I mean, like, it's away at the Rams and away at the Titans. That's fine. And then it's away at the Panthers, away at the 49ers. That's also fine. So overall, pretty decent in terms of, like, away games go.
Yeah.
They did do one other thing today. They signed wide receiver Nate McCollum, who was a tryout for them, and they waived Salah Amavelalu, an offensive guard. So, two nobodies that aren't going to be on the roster.
Yeah,
but, they made the move, so
they did.
That's what Seattle does, though. I don't know what it is. They kind of always are just plucking guys out of nowhere and going, we'll try you for camp. It'll go a couple weeks, and they'll pluck another guy. It's never a bad thing, in my opinion. It just is something they always do.
Like, if you notice a guy's not going to work out, bounce and let someone else get in there. Get a shot.
That tends to be the case. And it's normally, a lot of times, they do this based on, like, injuries or just a guy's in the building and they don't like him, and they kind of are like, all right, we'll bring someone else in. We don't got time for nonsense. So that happens quite often with the Seahawks. It is what it is. Like, I expect a lot more from now until camp. which I think minicamp starts or OTA start soon-ish. And
Next
then
week?
I'm like OTA start kind of soon because they start well
I
before
think
training
next
camp.
week. Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I expect at least another couple before OTAs because they always have at least 2 or 3. So that's one. So we'll get there soon. But that's pretty much what they
Nice.
do. And that's it for Seattle. They have been keeping it chill.
Hey,
Nothing.
nothing. A quiet off season is a good thing.
Yeah,
Like, I
I
don't want noisy shit. I know that Lamar sent out a cryptic tweet. He didn't. It probably had nothing to do with his new contract. People, chill out. Um,
That's the thing. Now it's
like,
just hey, I get to just
like
watch clips of people working out in shorts, and
in shorts and
that's fair. I get to watch them go play baseball for some reason. I don't.
yeah.
That
Like,
was a thing today. They went and played baseball. I don't know.
I don't know. It's pretty. The Ravens play golf a lot. During one day of like OTAs.
Fair. I don't know. I know why the Mariners are obviously in Seattle. And Mike McDonald, first of all, was a better baseball player than he was a football player. So I think
Well,
baseball for him was kind of a little more. So he's been doing a lot with the baseball team in Seattle.
yeah.
So yeah, they went out and played baseball today.
Well, and Baltimore does that. Like the Ravens and the Oilers are like really close. Like
Yeah,
they do a lot of shit to like support each other and
and that's.
show up for each
I'm
other
not
and
saying
do
it's a
fun
bad
stuff.
thing. It's just
No,
what happened today. That's been
I
my
just
Twitter feed is
yeah.
them playing baseball. But that's where we're at. Uh, I get to watch the hype videos, and that's pretty much it. And that's where I like to be at this point in the off season is the hype videos because they
Hype,
mean
not
nothing.
bullshit.
They mean
Not bullshit.
absolutely nothing. But because you get to
Yeah.
put hype videos out, it means nothing else is going on.
We had one with Mike Green like trucking that machine. And they're like, he's the guy, and I'm like,
They had one of
that
Jalen.
is wildly unexciting, but thank you.
They had
I
one.
get what we're trying to do here, people, but let's chill.
There's a couple from Seattle the other day that made me laugh. Like one of them was Cooper Kupp running an out route, like a 5 yard out, and I'm like, Cooper Kupp can do that in his sleep, guys. I don't know what we're.
Yeah, like
He looks like he's
that's
got
not
the
real.
backward cap on, and he's just like.
He's like, this is what we're okay, cool.
And then they had one of Milrow the other day throwing a good pass. To be fair, but like,
I don't know. I think the most
but
exciting video that's come out of Baltimore was Lamar throwing to a high school student.
yeah,
He was
see,
just at a park. And a kid was like, if I go deep, can you hit me? And Lamar was like, go. And it was like
see,
a 55-yard dime on a straight route, though.
yeah, that's
It was like,
that's fine. That's what honestly I love the baseball videos because I'm kind of sitting there like, this is something y'all aren't good at.
yeah.
And there are some of them that I'm like, oh, you guys definitely played baseball at some point in your lives because you actually are all right at this. There's one other thing I did forget to mention. The Seahawks might be involved in the in-season Hard Knocks. I've been hearing a lot of things with them doing the NFC West for the like divisional in
Oh, okay.
season,
Yeah.
like they did with the AFC North last year. I think they might be doing the NFC West this year.
I actually
Um,
really enjoyed that as a setup of like doing a whole division.
yeah, I enjoyed it. I think based on what I'm hearing, I think the 49ers were really the ones in talks with the league about doing it, and I think they're roping in the Seahawks, Rams, and Cardinals. So none of this is like confirmed or really even like report. Like I've been hearing reports from other teams that this could happen, not necessarily Seahawks reporters. So something that could happen.
Fair
I'm
enough.
just not sure it will. I would enjoy it, but I do know for the most part the Seahawks front office tends to not like it.
That's fair.
The only time they were offered it, they shut it down really quickly. So That's where we're at. Seahawks. Just hanging out.
Oh. Well, because I brought it up, and I'm a bitch. This is their schedule. First Baltimore at Jets versus Miami versus New Orleans versus New England at Atlanta at Carolina versus Kansas City at Miami versus Tampa Bay at Houston at Pittsburgh versus Cincinnati at New England at Cleveland at Philly versus Philly versus the Jets.
Yeah, it's really because their division sucks.
You play like
I counted
3 difficult teams.
4 teams that I'm like you could lose to reasonably.
So if it's rigged, which it's not, I'm not saying that.
No.
But
actually,
if they're not the number 1 seed and he's not the favorite for MVP, what are we even doing?
What's funny is the NFL has made it very clear on how the regular season schedule cannot be rigged. Because they've released
too much bullshit.
They've released everything that goes into creating the schedule.
I know it's not rigged.
I know,
it feels like a fuck you though. It feels like a fuck you.
I don't know. Have a worse division is really the answer because that's 6 wins that I'm counting for them. I don't think they lose to their division. Maybe the Patriots get 1, but the Patriots are the only team I think they lose to in the division. And even that is a stretch.
I don't know. I think that's a stretch.
I don't hate the Patriots this year, but that's the only team.
In contrast, the Ravens at Buffalo versus Cleveland versus Detroit at Kansas City versus Houston versus Rams versus Chicago at Miami at Minnesota at Cleveland versus the Jets versus the Bengals versus Pittsburgh at Cincinnati versus New England at Pittsburgh at Green Bay at Pittsburgh. They played 9 playoff teams from last year. 9.
That doesn't sound... Honestly, I think really your problem... The thing I think is hard about your schedule is your division.
Hey, I'm going to be honest with you. I am less concerned about
But your division's not as good this year.
No, I am less concerned about them. But Detroit, Kansas City...
But here's the thing. The Ravens always find a way to at least split everybody in their division. Maybe they sweep the Browns.
Dominate Houston, so that's pretty crazy. The Rams concerns me a little bit. Minnesota's defense...
I wouldn't be that concerned about the Rams.
And Green Bay. The Rams...
Oh, wait, no, the Rams, yeah.
I'm like, what are you talking about?
The Rams are fine.
I understand that you have to hate the Rams.
I don't know. When you said it, I wasn't thinking about the Rams.
What?
You said it, and for the reason my brain went to the 49ers, and I was like, I wouldn't be worried about them.
Honestly, them I'm not worried about.
Don't worry about them. Rams, fair, I guess.
I am not very concerned about my division this year.
I would not worry about Minnesota, honestly.
That defense is pretty well stacked.
The defense is... I just think that offense is not going to be good. I don't know. I don't know if McCarthy's going to be good enough in his first year to be worried about.
That's 10 weeks in for them to have their shit together.
Okay, fair enough, I guess. 10 weeks.
If it was earlier... that's the thing about Chicago. If it was earlier, I'd be like, okay. But that gives them time to kind of get their stuff in line.
I still wouldn't be that worried about Chicago. Until Chicago proves that they're not Chicago, I'm not worried about Chicago.
That's fair. I still have questions about his mental fortitude.
So. And that's why I'm not worried about Chicago. Until Chicago proves they're not Chicago, I don't have faith in Chicago.
That's fair. I have faith in Ben Johnson.
I mean, even
as an OC, we don't know what he's like as a head coach.
Even that, I'm like, as a head coach, OC is very different. I think he was one of the best OCs around. I think he could make a good head coach, assuming he has what it takes to be a head coach.
We shall see.
Again, though, I think all the questions are going to lie. I'll give what the Bears are doing credit. their Bears are making it very clear on who the problem is this season. If they're good, no one's the problem. If they're bad,
it's on Caleb.
It's on
Caleb.
They've redone the offensive line. They've
added weapons.
They have the right. I mean, they don't even have to add weapons. You still have DJ Moore.
They did. They went out and got a new tight end. They went and
who else? Who's the other receiver? Why can't I? Oh, Odunze. That's who I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Because Keenan Allen, I think, left.
Yes, he did.
So you still have Odunze and DJ Moore. You've got a pass-catching tight end, a new running back.
In Loveland.
I don't remember who their running back was, but I know they drafted a running back. That defense is good.
Very clear. If someone's the problem, it's Caleb.
Yeah. So I will give them a lot of respect for that. In terms of a lot of teams don't set themselves up to do that, where they give quarterbacks excuses. Bears are like
the Bears every year up until now.
Yeah. So I'll give them that. But again, I don't know. That's just going to be a wait and see.
We shall see.
I think the issue with your schedule is I think you could honestly come away with more wins than the Bills. Because I think the Bills play higher end, like fewer top end teams. You just play more consistently playoff teams.
Yeah.
Like the Bills have to play the Chiefs and the Eagles, and there was one more that I cannot think of now. That was top end.
Why?
I didn't hear the Chiefs on your list.
Or I play the Chiefs. Play them week 4.
Okay, fair enough, I guess.
I don't play the Eagles this year.
Maybe that's what it was.
So
I didn't hear the Chiefs when you were talking about the Ravens. So maybe that isn't true. Because when I was hearing Ravens, the only top-end team I heard was the Lions.
There is no way in fuck. At this point, the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens don't all play each other every year. It's just not. That's not real.
Which it's actually, that shouldn't be possible. Is the weird thing.
They all do it. The
and
Chiefs.
That's fine. I'm just saying it shouldn't be.
I think the Ravens had 1 year they didn't play either, like 3 years ago.
Because,
2-3 years ago.
Based on how the schedule's built, I guess I wonder if that's just what's happening, I guess. Is you play one division in the AFC, one division in the NFC. This year
your
for
own
you.
Division.
Yeah, your own division, a division in the AFC, a division in the NFC. And then there's 2 games, or is it 3 now?
3.
Yeah, there's 3 wild card games that all have to be first place teams for you. Well, it's wherever you finish.
Well, Ravens, Chiefs, and Bills.
Yeah.
The last several years are first. So you meet that requirement.
Here's the thing: but they should because you're not allowed to do it because you have to pick something outside of the division that you're playing, or that you played last season, or that you play next season.
That's the Ravens.
That's the thing: it has to be.
Shut up. The Ravens this year play the Bills division, so that's how they got away with it. And the Lions are the other first place team.
So how do they play the Chiefs? Is that their
That's one of their first place teams.
Didn't they play the whole AFC West last year?
Yes, they did.
Oh, it's not the year after, it's the year prior. That's how they get away with it on that one. Is you can't play the first place teams of the division you play the year out. So if they were to play the AFC West next year, they could not play the Chiefs this year. That's how that would work.
Yeah.
Is a weird rule like that? So that's okay. That's how you technically get away with it.
That's how they get away with it.
That's so dumb. I hate how they do that then.
Because, they played the Bills in a one-off last year, and they're playing the AFC West this year.
Okay. So reasonably, they could almost do it every year. There has to be 1 year where you can't.
And I think 2020, maybe 21.
I think it's every 4 years almost you can't do it.
It's been a couple of years since they played the Chiefs.
That's so weird. I don't know.
Oh.
I don't know if in that, like,
but
again,
when was the last time the Bills and the Chiefs didn't fucking play in the regular season? Like, I think it's 3 years. This is year 3 in a row.
and that's my, like, I don't know. The NFL just does it because, like, I don't know. The Seahawks played in Detroit the last 3 years.
Yeah, like,
So I guess, like, it is what it is there. I mean,
it
like,
happens.
I don't know. That's
Like,
weird.
I think there's a level of, like, I know they have all these rules, but there is also a level of, like, the NFL is a TV program.
Yeah. You have to
Like,
pick.
these are the teams you want to see play each other.
And if you can make it happen, they're going to make it happen.
Yeah. And I don't know what's going on. We play the Texans every fucking year, too.
That, well,
Like, play the Texans so much.
they also finished in first place.
Yes, they did.
So that's
I'm
also
like, y'all
probably
need
why.
to mix it up. And then people keep telling me, they're like, that's a hard matchup. I'm like, since when? With CJ
No.
Stroud, the Ravens are 3-0 against the Texans. And I don't know if y'all watched the Christmas game, but I did.
I didn't think that one was hard. Again, for the
It's
Ravens,
not.
the, like, consistent playoff teams, I don't think are the problem for you. I think your hard ones are the Lions, Chiefs,
Honestly,
and Bills.
our hard ones are the division ones.
And that,
Like, why are we split with the Browns? What is that? Who decided that?
you, by sucking.
Like, the Browns are not a good team. We sweep the Bengals, but we split with the Browns.
You did sweep the Bengals.
We've swept the Lamar has only lost to the Bengals in his career.
Which I don't understand how you don't sweep the Browns and just split the Bengals. But, teach their own, I guess.
Honestly, it's the Bengals. The Bengals are terrible against the division. Like, Burrow has a losing record.
I think it also doesn't help. It doesn't help that they also have.
Them, I think.
I think really what doesn't help is the Bengals have the worst defense in the division.
Yeah. Well, and he's got the worst O-line.
That too.
With one of, like, the best defensive divisions.
You have the worst defense against. The Ravens beat them because they have the worst defense. The rest of the league beats them because they have the worst offensive line. Or the rest of the division beats them because they have the worst offensive line.
But yeah, he does not play. He doesn't do well within the division. And it's not getting any better based off what I saw.
I think that'll change, honestly, because the rest of your division sucks. Okay, let's be clear.
Fair. That's fair.
If he can't beat the Steelers or the Browns this year, there's a genuine problem. If you lose a game to either of those teams, there's a genuine problem.
Okay. I expect them to split with the Browns. I'm gonna be pissed, but I expect it. I think they will split with the Steelers. I do. There is something about J.J. Watt. It's his fault.
It's also TJ that plays for the Steelers, not JJ.
TJ's Watt. TJ Watt's fault. That motherfucker has Lamar's number.
But Dallas, they don't have a quarterback.
Okay, but the last game they won by kicking field goals. And Boswell is still one of the best in the NFL.
But you still have to have a quarterback to get the ball, even to where Boswell can kick it.
I think Rudolph can do that.
Debatable.
I think he can do that.
Debatable. That's debatable. Maybe.
Trubisky went 9-8 with them. I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't the whole season. I think he and Pickett split it.
I think that's what happened. Again, if you lose if you split against the Browns and the Steelers, there's a problem.
There's a chance. I think I'm going to be so mad, but I think there's a chance.
Fair enough, I guess.
Just because there is something that happens. We get into Cleveland's building and we get into Pittsburgh's building and just all thought flies out of our fucking head. It's the same. It's like the playoffs. We get in and then we're like, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, if you... Okay, we're going to stop because I'm going to keep saying the same thing over and over again.
If we get swept by the Steelers this year, I will freak out.
Yeah, I mean... It's hard to say, but the Browns have the better QB. situation,
Oh, fuck.
which is insane to what?
Oh, no, it's okay. Our first game against Pittsburgh is at home.
Ah,
This is why we'll get swept. This right here. The not swept. This is why we'll split. The Steelers are their final game.
okay, fair enough, I guess. Maybe then, maybe a
Like,
non-quarter,
unless us,
maybe a quarterbackless Ravens loses to a
like,
quarterbackless Steelers.
if their spot is locked in, if the division is locked in,
Which, if it's not by then, you once again have problems.
yeah, we have a problem. So, and obviously, you guys, we will do the same thing we did last season. We'll do like game preview videos
And we'll
all that stuff getting into it.
yeah. We'll also
And we'll have games of the weeks.
We'll also do predictions closer to when rosters are finalized.
Right now, it's just what my soul needs.
But yeah, I mean, yeah, okay. We'll move on because the thought that you could possibly split to those two teams is not computing.
Okay, the Steelers though, that makes more sense. Like, I appreciate like the last couple years they did this. Their final game was Pittsburgh at home.
Yeah.
And that's why I was like, they keep getting swept by the Steelers because I think they would split, but Lamar doesn't play in the home game. Like, the starters don't play the home game. So I appreciate that they play them in Baltimore first to give that chance.
Sure. But again,
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Yeah.
I know how you feel about it.
What's worse is I kind of feel like the Seahawks might lose to Pittsburgh in week 2.
There's a chance of that. Yeah.
We'll see. If Mason Rudolph's the quarterback, I have zero fear. But there is somebody that could sign with the Steelers. At which point, I still don't have a ton of fear, but I feel like
I don't have a ton of faith, but they will, in theory, be able to move the ball.
they'll do better.
I don't know. That man seems to be taking his sweet ass time if he's gonna.
I think part of that, I'm hoping the Steelers are just like, nah, we'd rather not.
Me too.
I'll respect that from them at least, you know? Why give that
I
man
would respect
a
shit out of
contract?
it. Of like, we're not doing this.
We're not even entertaining the thought of him playing quarterback for us. We'd rather suck. We would rather ruin our winning season record to just be terrible for next year than have him start at quarterback for us. So I mean, fair enough.
We shall see. They keep saying he's coming though.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, you know, have fun. That'll be real good time. But yeah, I think that does it for football.
Well, sort of.
Well, it does it for football for now. We'll come back.
I feel like we gotta move this section.
Nah.
Yeah, we'll talk a little WNBA now. Quick things.
Won't be that quick.
Valkyries, like everybody else. What did you say?
Said it won't be that quick.
Oh. No, Valkyries did finalize their roster much like everybody else. A lot of hate is coming the Valkyries' way for players they cut, veterans that they picked up in their lottery, things like that. And the other one was Caitlin Chen. I have confusing thoughts on that, to be honest with you, and feelings. Why draft a woman if you were going to do that? She didn't think she was getting drafted. She showed up to support her teammates, had no idea this was even a possibility. I felt like it was like when the Jaguars signed Tebow. It was kind of a media and a cash grab rather than someone we ever intended to actually be on the team.
Yeah.
We did a lot of marketing with her. We put her front and center. We let her take the first ball out, all of these things, and then went, nah. So I didn't love that. I thought she would have been a great addition to the team. But we'll see how the season goes. Um, Final point. I'm just gonna weigh in briefly on this. I don't want to spend some time on it. I think the dialogue and the narrative around this is fucking stupid. Um, Obviously, to open the regular season, the Fever played the Sky, which meant Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese. Now, the people out there before the game started going, I think the Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese rivalry is over. I don't know what you're watching. I don't think it's sports, though. I don't think you've watched sports ever. They can be friendly off the court. On the court, they do not like each other. They have a real rivalry. They have beef. They're going to be physical. This is also just called women's basketball. That's what it looks like. This interaction they had is not abnormal. It's not... doesn't come out of left field. Like, they didn't turn around and suck each other. I think Angel wanted to, and had she gotten the chance, she might have. But this is not out of the ordinary. These fouls, the physicality, the chirpiness, completely normal. Was it a flagrant? I don't know.
No, actually, it's not by definition.
I get she made a basketball play. At the end of the day, Angel Reese shoved Aaliyah Boston in the back. Caitlin responded. If you're not going to get a penalty, you're not going to get the 2 points for it. Here's the other thing, though. Angel Reese is not a good shooter, so I don't know that you had to foul her at all. Probably wouldn't have gotten it.
Yeah, we shouldn't make. So just really quickly, because I said it. By definition, that shouldn't be a flagrant. It should be probably a technical. They function the same, but flagrants carry more penalty. Technicals kind of just get...
What's the difference? How do you get a technical versus a flagrant?
So flagrant is more of a direct... So there's two flagrant. There's a flagrant 1 and a flagrant 2. Flagrant 2 is direct ejection. Flagrant 1 is you need 2 of them to be ejected. It's the same as a technical. Technical, you get 1, you're fine. You get 2, it's an ejection. So the difference is a flagrant is more of like intent to harm. You have an intent to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
A technical is more of a... is more of a warning of like, yo, stop doing this. Like, stop talking to the ref, stop doing these things.
Yeah.
So technically, I understand why they gave a flagrant, but in reality, it's not a flagrant because it doesn't meet the technical requirements. They function the same, so it's technically fine. Like, it doesn't change anything.
Yeah.
A flagrant leads to a free throw. A technical leads to the same thing. Like, nothing changed. The only thing that changes is, I believe, fines, and I think if you get so many flagrants, you do get suspended.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, the only
here's
difference.
The thing. It's not a flagrant until the angle where she shoves her in the back. Now, I definitely think Angel
embellished
acted a bit on that, but
a bit. I mean, it was.
I'm gonna be honest with you. That's probably what AB should have done, because that's what led to the whole situation. Was, again, Angel shoved AB in the back. Caitlin turned around to the ref to be like, "Where's the foul?" The ref didn't give one, so Caitlin was like, "Fuck it, I'll do it my damn self."
Which, this play is very common, by the way, in just basketball, period.
Yeah, absolutely common. I don't think AB then deserved a technical, just for trying to keep Caitlin and Angel away from each other. Thought that was unnecessary. But at the end of the day, it's a rivalry. It's a rivalry we will see for the entirety of their careers. This is women's basketball. It's basketball in general. It's chippy. It's physical.
And at the end of the day, you don't call a foul. The general thing you're taught in that situation, a foul wasn't called, and someone has a wide open layup that you know can't shoot free throws, Your job is to foul them.
Like, and that's what Caitlyn said in her post-game press conference, and that's what she did.
There's actually a name for it. It's called Hack-a-Shack. It really came about when Shaquille O'Neal was in the NBA, because people would just foul him on purpose because he couldn't.
Free throw for the shit.
Yeah. So
yeah, that happened. Cool. But the narrative needs to chill.
Yeah, I think it's dumb. I think the narrative behind it's dumb.
Like, this is normal. It's okay. Just enjoy basketball. Just enjoy the fact that we're getting the physicality and the things that people like out of the NBA in the WNBA.
I also think...
But...
I also think the comments on Angel are kind of fair in terms of
completely inappropriate. Completely inappropriate.
The comments of her, like, so you're gonna cheer when someone hurts her, but then she kind of is like, I ain't taking that shit no more, and decides to even the playing field a little bit.
Look.
And you're gonna react that way and be like that?
Angel will always be the villain. That's the role she's chosen to take on.
I'm not even calling her a villain. But you're gonna... you can't act the way you're acting and be...
I don't know. She got the art. She did foul you. You get a little ticked off. You don't like her. I'm not bothered. I wasn't bothered by any of it. I was bothered by the lack of call against AB, and I was bothered by the flagrant. It was a foul. I didn't think it was a flagrant. I think we definitely embellished a bit. But
again, at the end of the day, they're gonna call it... Really, it should be like a technical take foul, because you are taking away a basket. It works the same in terms of they get the free throw and the ball as a flagrant. The only difference is the repercussions later down the line.
Yeah.
So again, I don't necessarily mind them calling it a flagrant, because technically you can construe what happened as Caitlyn was trying to cause harm. Like, it is an intentional coming down on the hands.
Caitlyn,
at the end of the day, it is a basketball play, though, in terms of you're coming down to block the shot. Like...
So yeah, I think most of the narrative around Angel Reese is inappropriate and unnecessary.
I think it's stupid. I think the whole thing is stupid. At the end of the day, it's a basketball play. It's gonna happen.
Like,
who cares?
Yeah.
I think Angel Reese could kind of... I think this will hopefully settle everything down a little bit in terms of the overall... You can chill of, like...
Part of the reaction, I'm going to be honest with you, is that they were getting their hands into them.
Yes.
I think there was a level of, like, I'm already ticked off. I'm already frustrated.
But I think her... Again,
and now this.
I just don't think you can react that way when you're doing the same thing. And I don't care that you reacted and got in her face. It's what she said to Caitlyn.
On the sideline.
Yeah, it's stupid.
Yeah.
That's
fair.
I'm like,
that's fair.
You can't have the energy that you have towards Caitlyn and expect different from her.
Yeah, like, you're going to get the energy you give.
Like, you cheer someone body checking her.
This is what you're going to get in return.
Her intentionally fouling you.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same energy. Like,
it's the same energy.
So, I think if you're going to give that energy, you better be willing to take it at the end of the day.
I do agree with that.
So that was my one. Again, though, I think the overall discourse around it is stupid, is unnecessary. And honestly, it doesn't matter. It was a basketball play. Like,
here's the problem I have with it. Honestly, this is my general... Okay, now we're going for longer than I anticipated on this topic. Whatever.
I knew.
I didn't expect so much input back from you, honestly, is kind of what's throwing me off.
It's because it's the only thing I saw the past, 3 days.
That's my problem with it. I understand that the WNBA is still trying to become more relevant in the modern sports market. I get that. I respect that. I'm all for it. we have to find a way to do it without cash grabbing some of the worst moments. Like, we're not elevating the stars the way we can and should be. We don't market the way we can and should be. Instead, we're like, let's make sure everyone's talking about this one single moment, and we're blowing it way out of proportion to what actually happened.
Yeah.
And so it becomes a disrespectful and unnecessary narrative around two athletes that don't actually behave any differently than any other athlete in any other sport. So, I'm all for the WNBA's growth, and I appreciate that we talk about it, but we have to figure out how to talk about it.
Sure. Again, it was just the only thing you saw for the last 3 days or however long ago it was.
I agree. And that's why I was like, can't not talk about it, but
again, I just think the whole situation was dumb.
Basketball play. Basketball play.
It happened.
Perfectly normal.
Again,
I promise, if you turn on
you could turn
any
on
of the playoff games that are coming up, you will see it.
You could turn on any game from this playoffs and you'll see it. You could turn on probably any game from the regular season and you'll probably see an example. Regular season's hard to tell. Sometimes those games just are kind of neither team cares, so neither team does anything in the NBA regular season. But again, it happens all the damn time.
All the time.
I guarantee you'll see it again probably the next WNBA game. You'll see something similar.
So, that is it for WNBA news.
Solid.
And we can then move on to our continued conversation of the NFC West.
Yeah.
With Cardinals and 49ers as we are going in order of how they finish the season. We will, of course, start with the Cardinals. Also, both of these teams, Brendan's favorite.
Yeah.
So there will be no bias in this portion whatsoever.
I'm just bringing you what they've got going on here. Okay? At the end of the day, I said the Rams did well.
Sure.
The Cardinals aren't doing terribly. You know, they could have done better. But at the end of the day, it's the Cardinals. They have their own problems.
They have a lot of problems. We're going to talk about it.
Currently, though, we'll start with their cap space. They have a lot. I'm very confused on the cap space calculator I've been using because this doesn't seem right. But also, I don't know who they're paying. So this is actually probably right.
Outside of Kyler Murray and Budda Baker, I don't know.
Yeah. And Budda Baker's not even top. Oh, no, he is. Okay, never mind.
I was like, he better be.
He's barely top 4, actually. He's tied for 4th.
Who else is on that fucking team?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Oh, they just paid McBride.
McBride isn't even close. I don't think.
Oh my god, who are these people paying?
Unless his new cap hit isn't on here. Yeah, so cap space left, I think they have like 32 million, roughly. So pretty decent. Seems to be kind of where the whole NFC West sits at the moment, actually. So I mean, that's fine. You have enough to sign free agents if you wanted to. I don't know if they are. They just could. And then in terms of free agency, I don't think they've done badly. You brought in Josh Sweat from the Eagles. That's pretty decent. He's not on a huge contract. That does help their edge situation, which is not good. They brought in Brissett to be their backup. That's, I think, good for them. Kyler Murray has been injured before. Kind of gets injured every year. At least misses a couple games. Brissett's is an actual backup. So he can come in, maybe win you a game, at least get you through it. And you feel like you have a chance. So those are two decent signings. You brought in Akeem Davis-Gaither to play linebacker. I mean, that's fine, I guess. You brought in a left guard from the Buccaneers. there are worse places to sign a left guard from. Like, if we're being honest, the Buccaneers tend to have a good offensive line, so bringing in one of their guys, never a bad idea. You brought in Calais Campbell. I don't know how much he's got left in the tank, but I do like that signing from a locker room and a veteran standpoint. Calais Campbell, really good vet, good dude in the locker room, so I think that's fine, especially with their draft picks this year. They re-signed McBride. They re-signed their long snapper. They re-signed L.J. Collier. They re-signed Baron Browning, who they got from the Broncos last year. That's pretty much the main ones. There's some guys at the bottom end of the roster that I just mean aren't kind of getting it done, but you're fine with them. So yeah, it's just a lot of on the bottom of the roster. It's a lot of just people to fill it out. So yeah, I don't think their free agency has been bad. Like, they definitely hit what they needed to on defense. Like, they needed edge, and they
definitely made
a
improvements
vet.
there.
They needed a vet, and I think Calais Campbell works really well there. And then bringing back McBride is a really good idea. Bringing in Brissett,
He had a great season.
I think bringing in Brissett will be underrated for that team.
They've always had
They've
never put much into their backup quarterbacks, so to see them do that, I think, is a positive step forward.
Yeah. And then draft pick wise, I think they did pretty well in this draft, if we're being honest. I think they kind of nailed it with this draft. First of all, they select Walter Nolan, D tackle from Ole Miss. I think that's a great pick for them. He helps their pass rush. He helps their interior defensive line. He kind of just does everything for them that they needed, because that interior and that defensive line was not good. So I think that he automatically makes it better. They do take the risk on Will Johnson, but they get him in the second round. I think that's great for them, honestly. If he comes back and is who we think he is, he was a top 15 pick without that injury. They needed secondary help. It was pretty much Budda Baker back there by himself at times.
Yeah.
So that is a huge get and a huge steal if he comes back healthy and ready to go. That could be great for them. And then they go another edge in the third round with Jordan Burch out of Oregon. He's fine, another good edge. Kind of just keep stacking onto that group, and you'll be fine. And then in the fourth, they bring in a linebacker. Fifth, they go corner again. Sixth, they go offensive line. And seventh, they go safety. So they did attack defense, which they needed to. Every pick outside of their offensive lineman was on defense. That's what the Cardinals needed to do, and they did it. I will say their draft class is only 6 guys, and that kind of lowers it for me, especially in this draft class. I think with everything you needed to do, I would have tried to get more picks in this class, but at the same time, I think they've done well with what they picked, especially the corner in the 5th round was Denzel Burke. He had a really rough last season, but the years prior, he could have been a day 2, late day 1 kind of guy. Could have snuck into the first round had he got better from the previous season. Or even if he didn't, he was a 2nd, 3rd round pick, then had a really bad year with Ohio State. But if he can come back to what he was before, he could be really good. So I think they did well in this draft, really attacking what they needed to on defense. So overall, I think Arizona did well. I still don't think they're improved enough to really challenge for this division.
And I think they have real limitations
with Murray
at very important positions.
I think Kyler Murray's easily. I shouldn't say that. Kyler Murray is most likely the worst quarterback in this division. There's a chance. There's a chance it's Darnold if Darnold plays like he did with the Jets. But if Darnold is what he was with the Vikings, Kyler Murray's easily the worst quarterback in this division.
Yeah.
And just not someone I think can really do much for the Cardinals. But again, I think they did definitely improve where they needed to, and I think they're at least making steps in the right direction.
Agreed. Alrighty. Well, their NFLPA information is interesting. They're ranked 32nd out of 32 teams. I'm not going to do a full breakdown because
When you're that bad, it's pretty much a lot
it
of
would
Fs.
be a lot. So I'm just going to kind of go through the overview, and then I will point out their lowest and highest. So the main concern for players is a need for an updated, modernized, and expanded team facility. Nearly every space within the facility is described as too small, especially the team's locker room. Many players also highlight non-construction related improvements that would enhance their workplace conditions, stuff like that. The thing the team thinks it's doing best is Jonathan Gannon is fostering a strong team culture.
Fair enough.
So, pretty much all of their grades are in the low 20s to 30s. Their lowest grade was an F minus, 32nd, which was locker room. F, 31st in weight room. Just a lot of complaints about size and room. I am not surprised by that. If y'all remember, they were on Hard Knocks a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty small. Football players are not, especially when you get 53 of them, plus coaching staff and training staff and
Plus,
all the
yeah.
people. So, yeah, I'm not
It's a
surprised by
lot
that.
of.
Now, don't get me wrong. I saw the Bucks video of the wide receiver they drafted.
And
I'm not even gonna try it. So, getting his locker, their lockers are fucking huge.
yeah.
And Mike Evans still takes up 2 of them, so I'm a little confused by that. But they're massive. So I don't know that you need that, but definitely bigger. So that's kind of
The
situation there. Ownership was a D minus and came in at 30th. I'm surprised he did that well. When you have clear structural and fundamental problems with your facility.
yeah.
If you're unwilling to finance projects to that in any capacity, I'm surprised you were only 30th, quite frankly. Head coach, they came in at an A and 8th. 92% of Cardinals players feel their head coach, Jonathan Gannon, uses their time efficiently, a rank of 21. And the players feel that Gannon is highly receptive to locker room feedback on the team's needs, ranking him 7th out of 32. So, yeah, it just wasn't. None of it's good.
Yeah, it doesn't
They're
sound like it.
in the 30s for most things. Team travel was a B, but also 20th. So yeah, it's
Just not good.
I feel like the shit show that is the Cardinals just permeates through the entire organization. Is what this tells me. Is I don't think your owner is very committed to winning. I don't think your quarterback is very committed to winning. I think your head coach is probably the only one that I would genuinely give a nod to in that regard. I don't even give it to the front office because this is the first year ever that they've put real effort into bolstering a defense that
It sucks.
has been bottom of the barrel for the better part of a decade, really. Um, and I give credit more to Gannon than that. Um,
Yeah.
so I just think the best thing they ever did was get Watt, and
Even that wasn't.
unfortunately, that cannot get you playoff wins. So, Murray's yet to win a playoff game. They made the playoffs once. Um, I don't have a ton of faith in that. I think, like you said, I think if Darnold even sits, I think, in the middle of the two, I think Murray is the worst quarterback in the division. And I think the Cardinals are clearly the worst run organization in the division. And
Yeah.
I think that matters. I think it matters. I think throughout
And
most of the NFL, the bottom teams
are going to be
are
bottom.
there for a reason, and that's why they've been there a very long time.
Yeah. The fact that the Cardinals have had kind of successful seasons at times is a little impressive with how bad they're ran.
Yeah.
But, whatever. It's the Cardinals. They're just going to be the Cardinals, if we're being honest.
They're the junk team
Yeah.
in that division.
Yeah.
I feel like most divisions have one.
I think you kind of have to.
Like,
There was
I
a
think
time where the Cardinals weren't, and you could argue that the NFC West was a very competitive division, and now they are. So it's like the AFC North.
Yeah.
There was a time where, at one
They
point,
were one of the best divisions in football.
and now,
And
now it's the AFC West.
yeah, that's especially now with the Raiders making genuine improvements.
Yeah, Raiders making improvements, Broncos making
Uh,
improvements, Chargers making improvements, the Chiefs just being the Chiefs at this point.
yeah. So yeah, I will be interested to see what they look like this year. With what I think is a clearly upgraded defense. But I
I
I know
don't
we're
think it's going
still
to be good
waiting on
enough.
divisions. I'm betting last.
Probably, but we'll see. If you talk to anybody in the national media, you're wrong. But
Do they think the Seahawks are going to be last?
yeah, and we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
We'll talk about that when we get to
Well,
actual
moving
season.
on.
Moving
We
on.
will talk the 49ers now.
Yeah,
So,
which
Brendan, why don't you give us
their cap
all them
situation,
stats?
their cap situation better than I thought it would be. But I honestly think it's because of how they did a bunch of their deals. It's opened up cap space for this year. Because they're sitting at like 43 million. So it must have been how they did Warner's, Kittle's, and some other people's deals to free up a ton of cap space. Because they're sitting pretty at the moment with cap space. That cannot be said for their future. So, that's good. But good luck. Again, they're good this year. So, I mean, you could sign a free agent if you wanted. But you have to be able to pay him in the future. And that could be a problem. In terms of free agent moves, they did not do a ton.
No, they lost a shit ton.
They brought in, or they re-signed Kittle, re-signed Purdy, re-signed Fred Warner. So those are big, big moves that you did do. They also brought back Juszczyk. It's another pretty big thing that you kind of needed to do. In terms of who they signed, kind of nobody's, honestly. They brought in Richie Grant, the safety from the Falcons. They brought in a long snapper. They brought in a right tackle from the Titans, a tight end from the Falcons. Uh, They brought in Trey Brown from the Seahawks, a corner. Brought in another corner from the Rams, a tight end. They just did nothing worth of note in terms of bringing people in. Like it was a
Yeah.
very meh
It's
offseason
very
that way.
lackluster.
Yeah. In terms of losses, they took a hit.
That's where the headlines are
I guess
with their
they did
losses.
also bring in Mac Jones. I did forget to mention Mac Jones. As if
Okay.
I mean that's their backup. Okay, you got to have a backup.
First round quarterback can't beat out Mr. Irrelevant. That's all I'm saying.
But yeah, that's where we're at.
You couldn't even win the backup job staying in Jacksonville.
Hey,
Like,
again, that's their backup. I don't know. It's like that's the only signing that they made that I can actually like. Okay, sure. All right. In terms of who they lost, they lost Debo in a trade to the Commanders. They lost Travarius Ward, their best corner, to the Colts. They lost Leonard Floyd to the Falcons. Dre Greenlaw to the Broncos. They lost a corner to the Saints. They lost Joshua Dobbs, their backup QB, to the Patriots. They lost their left guard to the Packers. They lost Eric Saubert, the tight end, to the Seahawks. They lost Rock Ya-Sin, the corner, to the Lions. And that's really the important ones, other than they lost Talanoa Hufanga, their safety, to the Broncos. They lost their running back Elijah Mitchell to the Chiefs, and they lost Jordan Mason to the Vikings. So they took some beatings in terms of who they lost in free agency.
I would have tried really hard to keep Mason.
Yeah, I wonder if their thought process was we can kind of just sign. We can always just draft a running back, and he'll probably work out in Shanahan's offense. Because that's the one thing I'll give Shanahan, despite how much I think his offense is a little overrated. He can turn any running back into a viable starter.
That's fair.
In that scheme. So I'm less worried about them and running back than I am like half the other teams in the league.
But their defensive losses, man, that's gonna.
Yeah, that hurt. I will give them credit. They lost all these guys on defense, but then they did attack the draft pretty well. So obviously with their first round pick, they took Michael Williams, edge out of Georgia. That's pretty big. Get a guy opposite of Nick Bosa. They bring in the second. They bring in Alfred Collins, D tackle, Texas. Another guy on the defensive line to help replenish it because that really took the hit. They bring in a linebacker, Nick Martin, out of Oklahoma State to replace Greenlaw. In the third, they take a corner out of Western Kentucky to replace all the ones they lost. Fourth round, they take another D tackle out of Indiana and CJ West to really replenish that defensive line. And then they did take, because I did mention this, Jordan James, Oregon, in the fifth round. That's a running back. And I actually do like him as their option at running back other than McCaffrey. So I don't think they had a bad draft. They definitely had to attack defense, and they did. They went defense with their first up to the fifth round. They took a lot of defense, so they needed that.
Well, and a new addition to the team that you didn't mention, they hired Robert Saleh.
They did bring back Robert
as
Saleh,
defensive coordinator, who is really good at developing young defensive talent.
Yes.
He is a great defensive coordinator. So I think the thought process was this is kind of a time we can trim heavy cap space, age, and injury prone. With Saleh back, they can develop a lot of this young talent. But I think they're definitely going to feel that.
Yeah.
Especially through the first couple weeks while We really see how the system is going while that talent gets developed.
Yes.
Um,
But overall, I think they did have a good draft, and I do think they definitely hit what they needed to. And they
yeah,
also had 11 picks, and that's what you needed in this draft
yeah,
was to just replenish.
quantity.
You just need to replenish your youth because you lost so many people this offseason.
Yeah,
You kind of needed to have a big draft, and I think they did. Whether a lot of these guys hits, who knows? But 11 shots at it, you're bound to hit a couple.
yeah.
So I think overall they did a good job. Again, not a great free agency, a good enough draft, a I mean, I still think they got worse, which is unfortunate to say, but that
I
defense took a
mean,
hit.
probably.
That defense took a hit. Offensively, I don't know how much
I
worse
think
you really got.
so.
Like,
Here's what I'll say. I think in the prime and the dominance they've had, they got worse
yeah,
compared to last year. I think they should be better.
moderately.
They were terrible last year. They were
I
terrible.
think honestly, just they'll be better than last year. I don't think they would have been good last year, even without a lot of the injuries. But they did get hit with a lot of them, so I do
Yeah,
think
they
that
were
was
really
part of
beat
it.
up.
Um, but I still I disagree with a lot of what the media seems to think they're just going to turn it around and all will be
No, I don't
fine.
think that.
I don't think that. A lot of national media have them finishing first in the division. I think that's insane. I
No,
honestly don't even see them finishing second.
I think they're
Um,
third
I
based off current construction,
yeah, I don't.
how young they are on defense. I say third.
I agree, but like, man, this team, if they keep having this kind of free agency, they're not. They're gonna struggle. Again,
Yeah,
good draft, but unfortunately, I can say this about any team. You had a good draft, but draft picks are lottery tickets. You gotta hit them. If you
yeah,
don't hit, you're fucked.
yeah,
Um, and I think they took some good shots. It's just whether they hit. Um, hopefully they will. Again, want teams to get better despite hating them.
yeah.
Uh, but again, it they got better this year. I just don't think they got enough better. I think it's very similar to the Cardinals in a way. Where yeah, I definitely think I think the Cardinals improved more than they did, but also the Cardinals had more improving to do. If that
That's
makes
fair.
sense. They're starting from a
Yeah,
lower
I
position.
would
You
agree with that.
can improve more.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that.
But yeah, I don't the 49ers if they can't figure it out, they're going to struggle for a while. So, that's where we're at with the 49ers though.
Alrighty. Well, on to NFLPA. They came in at 8th out of 32. Their highest ranking was food and dining area. Came in at an A at 4th. 49ers rate the taste of their team's food a 9.24 out of 10. Not gonna lie, don't think that's super important. Ranking of 3rd out of 32. They rate the freshness of their food 9.38 out of 10, ranking of 4th. And players rate their dining area a 9.5 out of 10. So it's the one area that's not too small. Oh no, that was the
That would have
Cardinals.
been the
Never mind.
Cardinals.
Got distracted. Got ahead of myself.
A little bit, yeah.
Um, their lowest grade was training room, B minus, and they came in at 21st. 84% of 49ers players feel they have enough full-time trainers, ranking them 25th. 87% of players feel they have enough full-time physical therapists, rank of 13th. 81% of players feel they have enough hot tub space, ranking them 17th. And 81% of players feel they have enough cold tub space, a rank of 18. Players mention the sauna frequently breaks. So, it had come up last week, I believe, when we were talking about the Rams. They are the second team that charges players for daycare. They charge $40 per child to use it for home games.
Okay.
So,
I'm noticing a
I think it's
theme with the teams that have to do that. I am noticing a theme. We'll
yeah.
see if that theme holds once we get to another team. Then I'll decide how I feel about it.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah.
Yep. We'll see. No, because it's just these two.
Just the two? Is that what this is?
They're one of two.
Okay. I mean,
So it's the Rams and the
49ers.
49ers.
That's interesting, I guess.
So,
So,
and
okay.
then
I don't know.
head coach, they were got an A and they were 10th out of 32.
Seems
I'm a little
low.
surprised at that. Well, I'm a little surprised based off numbers. I see where he got. Yeah, I'm a little surprised. 97% of players feel their head coach Kyle Shanahan is efficient with their time, which ranks them at 11th.
Okay.
And players feel that Shanahan is moderately receptive to locker room feedback, which ranks him 16th. So, ownership was an A minus, got 12th out of 32. Jed York's average rating for perceived willingness to invest in the facility is 9.1 out of 10, which is a rank of 12th. Players feel that York significantly contributes to a positive team culture, ranking him 7th. And players feel that York is extremely committed to building a competitive team, a rank of 6th. Everything sits within A to a B minus. Nothing overall shocking or standouty. The biggest complaint people seem to have is daycare. Is charging for daycare.
I mean, yeah. When you're one of two teams that has that problem, I could
No,
see that.
that's crazy. I mean, I think it's interesting because like you have some that don't require it at all or don't provide it at all. And then a couple of the ones that do charge you. So I think
It's weird. It's definitely weird.
I think it's a weird thing. Like,
I think if you're gonna do it, I don't see
yeah, like I
charging.
think if you're gonna offer it, just offer it.
Yeah. That's,
Like,
I think, the.
you're a billion-dollar organization. You out here charging people $40 for daycare? The fuck is that about?
That's mine. That's mine. I'm like, do you really need that badly?
Yeah, like,
Like, damn.
and like, I want to know if like a team charges a player, because that's not really how that transaction works, right? Is the team pays the player. So at $40 per child, even if okay, hold on, I need a calculator. You could probably do this, but because some have more, some don't have any. But if
yeah.
we say 40 times, not all 53, because
Yeah.
53 players do not show up on game day. So we'll say 11, 22.
I'm pretty sure 53 do show up on game day. You have to have 53
Okay,
on
yeah.
game day.
I'm thinking 53 accounts for the practice squad, and it doesn't. So
No.
you're right. 53. All right, so 40 times 53 is $2,120
Yeah.
per home game.
Which you're gonna get approximately 8 or 9, depending on your schedule.
So times, we'll say 8. That's $16,960. What are you then doing with that money?
Yeah.
Because, like, does that money then have to go back to the NFL because it's because it's not football revenue? Probably not because it's not football revenue.
No, probably not. It probably does go back to the team. But then, I mean, like
what do you do with that? Like, that's $17,000 a year.
$16,000.
What are you doing? Is that just the owner being like, boom, cha-ching, bitch?
Yeah, that's mine. Like, what? Like, are you gonna put it back into something? Because it's not a ton of money to put back into like the facilities. Those facilities are more expensive than that.
So I just or do you use that money to I just want to know what you do with that money.
At the end of it's just weird. It's just because depending on what you do with it, I'm just gonna be like, just don't charge it anymore.
Yeah.
Like if you're putting it back into parts of the facility, I think the players would rather you not upgrade parts of the facility, and they'd rather just have the 16 or the however much we decided it was. It would have been like $2,000 for them.
And I'm gonna be honest with you, because they were complaining, right? They don't have enough cold space tub. I'd be like, you bitches out here charging me for daycare. I don't have fix it.
Yeah, add more.
You know what I mean? Like I think if you're gonna charge players for daycare, there should not be any complaints about the facility whatsoever.
Yeah, I don't get that one. I just don't get the whole charging for daycare thing. That's mind-boggling.
Especially because only 2 teams do it. It's weird. It's weird.
Like and again, they're both in California. So
but the other California team doesn't do it.
Yeah, but there's a third California team. And they don't. I wonder if they even offer it though.
I was curious. I'm gonna look it up.
Because the Chargers offer it and don't charge. The Chargers are doing it. The Chargers are showing the other California teams like it's not that hard, guys. Like,
yeah.
What are we doing?
Los Angeles Chargers.
Yeah, what? I don't get it. I don't get that. If you're gonna offer it, just fucking offer it for free. Like,
Chargers provide daycare during home games and a family room.
Okay, then yeah. If you're gonna offer it, just offer it for free. I don't get that at all.
Yeah,
at all. That's such a stupid thing. I don't. Okay.
That's crazy. I just don't get it.
I don't either. I don't. Again, unless
that's
it's
one of those things that I'm like.
I guess
it's. I feel like it's so stupid. You know what I mean? But it's like.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. It's like
I get teams that are like, unfortunately, we're not set up to have a daycare. Like, we just don't. We don't provide that. Okay, I can understand that. But 2 out of 32 teams charge you for daycare. And they don't even charge the same amount.
Yeah. And what's weird is I bet it's still cheaper than maybe actual. It's like probably cheaper than actual daycare.
It's definitely cheaper than actual daycare.
But also,
what
is it going to? Like, what's the plan?
Yeah, I want to know what you spend $17,000 on a year.
Is it like? I think the funniest one would be like it goes to a charity. I'm like, okay, sure, I guess that's fine, but also
I respect that. But also, most NFL players
donated anyway.
Give quite a bit to charity, and they run foundations.
So I don't think 16,000. That's like chump change compared to what they're doing. So I don't get. That's my thing. It's not even like you're making that much money out of it.
Yeah, you're not making enough to make vast improvements on the facility.
You're not
making enough. You're not paying somebody's salary with that. You're not paying whoever runs the daycare $17,000 a year. You're a $1 billion organization. I don't fucking believe that.
I don't. Any donation you make to a charity can be quadrupled by anybody at the facility other than some of the like other staff. So I'm just confused
That
by.
would be my only thought, which it's still ridiculous, is that money pays part of the salary and then we as the team just cover the rest.
But also,
But
you're again billions of dollars
yeah,
comfortably. Why?
so when especially like those two teams are very rich owners.
Yeah,
Like, okay, maybe if it was the Raiders pre-Brady, I'd be like, yeah, you probably need to charge for that.
sure.
But it's Kroenke and
yeah,
I don't
it's
know, like,
it's Kroenke and
it's York runs it, but that he's not the ownership group.
yeah.
So I'm confused.
I don't know. We could talk about this a lot. I'm baffled by the thought that two teams charge for daycare.
So
I don't get
that
it.
is
That one doesn't make a ton of sense.
no. So that's the
But hey,
NFLPA though on the 40. Nope.
yeah,
49ers.
49ers.
I'm like, I don't know who the fuck we're talking
Yeah, whatever.
about. Alrighty. Well, any other news, thoughts, sports related?
Yes, we got a comment
Okay.
on our video that was asking us to talk more about baseball. We'll do that next week when we can have an actual bringing together
so
of some
Brennan
baseball
and I
stuff.
have to first talk about baseball.
We have to first
to then discuss baseball.
Yeah, we first have to watch and figure some stuff out about baseball
so
to talk about
but
baseball.
we would love to do that for you. Yes.
Like, we'll talk about baseball. You commented. We'll do it. You just gotta wait a week.
I know.
Might be two.
The Dodgers are struggling.
Dodgers are struggling. Rockies are off to a historically bad start.
Yes, they fired their GM.
Fired their manager. It's not their GM. You gotta be careful.
Oh, their manager. Sorry.
Managers in baseball is the head coach.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
They fired their manager after a historically terrible game.
Yeah. They won. They won the next game, and he was still the head coach for that, or still the manager for that.
Yeah, but they played the same team they lost to, and I'm pretty confident that whole team went, we'll just play the bench because this was sad.
This is the like it's baseball. If you're not aware, we're from Colorado, so we are Rockies fans.
I mean, please don't say that about us.
If we had to root for a team, it would unfortunately probably be the Rockies. But even that, they're like 8-25. They're 8 in something or other. They're off to a historically bad start. They are on pace for the most losses in MLB history.
You're supposed to be guaranteed like 40 wins in baseball, and they're currently projected to not have that.
Yeah. So they're off to a historically bad start. And so, there's that. What else is happening? We talked about the torpedo bats when they started happening.
I know Shohei's having a great season. It's just not translating to wins right now.
Okay.
Like he has 17 home runs so far. But they've lost the last 4, I think.
Yeah, it's Dodgers.
I believe the Royals have won 15 out of 16, but their whole division is really good, so they're not breaking ground.
Okay. We're getting somewhere. Getting somewhere. But yeah, again, you just got to give us some time really.
Yeah, we'll do some research.
Get some stuff
that
about
way
baseball.
We're saying, 1, accurate things.
Yeah.
And 2, things of substance.
Other than, currently.
Random shit I happen to know about baseball.
Yeah. Again, the only thing of substance for us right now is the fact that the Rockies are off to an historically bad start.
Terrible.
For reference, we are in fucking May. The season starts in like April. They are 20 games back from the top of their division.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
terrible.
That's who Kroenke needs to go by. It's the fucking
What's
Rockies.
worse is I don't think he can.
No, Colorado will not let him. Denver will not let him. They
'Cause
wouldn't let him buy the Broncos. Why the fuck would they let him buy the Rockies?
I think at that point,
Honestly, you know what? They may make an exception though, just so that team can fucking try to win.
because the current owners of the Rockies suck. And they've
They've owned it
sucked
for so long.
for so long.
They only care like they throw like let's be clear. They throw a ton of money at
At
the
the
Rockies,
for the
but it's
wrong
like
things.
the stadium. The stadium is brilliant and it's gorgeous and it's a lot of fun.
Yes.
And if you're a fan of a team and they play Colorado in Colorado, I
Go.
recommend going.
It's a nice stadium.
If you're a fan of the Rockies, I'm really sorry.
Don't go. Simply,
Because they do
do not go to the games.
they do not put money into their players at all.
I for any sport, by the way. This is a general thing. Any sport, if you want the ownership to change, do not go to games. Once
Sure.
they stop making money, because most of the time the only way owners make money is by you showing up to games. Once they stop making money, they have no incentives to keep the team.
Yeah. And unfortunately, because of what God, I cannot think of his name. Or that family's name. The money that's been put into the stadium. People go a lot.
The Momfords? Monfords?
Maybe.
It's the Montfords or Mumfords. I can't remember.
And tickets are super cheap.
Because they're terrible.
So, if you just want to go and eat and have some drinks
and honestly just hang out,
have baseball in the background,
and honestly,
Rocky Stadium is where it's at.
It's a beautiful stadium, and it has a beautiful backdrop.
It's gorgeous.
The mountains are like right there. Well, I say right there, but like they're in the background.
You can clearly see them.
They're in the background of most of the park. Like it's a great stadium. Yeah. It's in downtown. Like there's a lot of places you can go from the stadium or before the stadium.
They have the really cool row of purple seats.
Yeah. Again. But yeah, if you're a fan of the team, don't go.
Don't go.
But again, I understand. Rockies fans are loyal to, for whatever reason, they like to go to games.
Yeah.
I don't get it. But yeah, that's where we're at. We'll talk more about baseball when we have genuine things to talk about.
We'll do some data research.
We'll maybe do some stuff. It. But I want to try to find the comment so I can shout you out. Hawk for life. You've commented before.
Yeah, he's a Seahawks fan.
He is a Seahawks fan, so I'm going to guess you like the Mariners.
Or they, I guess.
Sure, yeah, they.
Get to identify yourself, so I don't want to make assumptions.
Fair.
Get yelled at.
So I'm assuming if you're a Seahawks fan, you can correct us in the comments. You're probably a Mariners fan, because that's the Seattle baseball team. We can dive more into Mariners if you want. We could also just dive more into general baseball. Up to you. I don't really care. That's where we're at.
We'll figure it out.
If you want anything specific, because I want to say the comment was just talk more about baseball. If you want anything specific, let us know.
Yeah.
But
if you want a specific team, we can do that. If
because
you just
baseball's
want
going
on, that's about as general as I know.
Yeah.
Is
again,
I could probably only name maybe half the teams.
What's sad is I could probably name every team in the MLB.
Nope, I definitely couldn't do that.
I could probably do it.
So
I think the problem is I would forget one, and then once I forgot one, I'd struggle. I could probably go through the divisions, but once I screw up one time...
Oh, I definitely couldn't go through the divisions. I don't have a fucking clue.
I could do I don't know if I could go through all, but that's how I would start. Is I could kind of do it that way, and then regions.
I don't know. I don't even know who's in the Rockies division.
Dodgers, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres.
Oh, I did know the Diamondbacks.
Wait, Dodgers, Diamondbacks, Padres. I'm forgetting one. Because it actually, baseball does a decent job of following regions. Who am I forgetting? See, this is the problem. Once I forget one, I'm screwed. The Giants, San Francisco, because they do a decent job of like actually sticking to regions. Like you have all of the West, other than the Mariners, but you have like the West on one side of because they have conferences. So you have the West of that conference, decent. The West of the other conference isn't great. I'm gonna be honest, but you have
I'll take your word for it.
Texas teams mixed with Los Angeles and Seattle.
Okay, so see, that's weird.
Yeah.
Um.
But yeah, we can talk more, but
yeah,
just give us
we'll do some
time.
data gathering.
We'll actually pay attention. Is really what needs to
we'll-
happen.
Yeah, we'll hone in the
On
baseball a little bit. I can't promise I'm gonna watch it, but I will hone into
Yeah.
the news around
can't-
baseball.
I might have a game on just to make sure I understand everything properly again.
Yeah, I think I understand the game.
I understand, but I mean like to actually see what we're talking about.
That's fair.
Like if we're talking about the Rockies, maybe just despite how much, or let me be more clear. I don't know if I'd ever watch a Rockies game. But
because I tried to watch.
If we talk about the Mariners, maybe I'll put on a Mariners game to actually understand.
I tried to watch the World Series last year.
Fair. I
watched a bit of that. So I did watch some.
More than I did, to be fair.
I watched a game. I think in totality.
You watched more than I did. But yeah.
So,
that's where we're at with baseball. We don't talk about baseball because we're not interested, but again, we're willing to do it. So
no, we're happy to. I'm glad someone had a request. I'd like to do everything we can to meet the request.
Yeah, so just give us a little time and we'll dial it in. But let us know under this video. Do you want it about the Mariners? Because I'm assuming you like Seattle sports, unless you're like me. But I'm just going to assume you like Seattle sports. Or do you have a favorite team? And we'll talk about that. We're kind of open. Again, baseball's one. We don't talk about it. So we don't really care. And we don't have a team. So we can kind of just bounce around.
We definitely don't have a team. Definitely don't have a team.
So we kind of just bounce around and do it. So that's the easy thing.
Yeah. Let us know what you want to hear about, and we will dive in.
But yeah, I think that does it for this episode.
Awesome.
Again, like, subscribe. Again, if you want to comment, let us know what you want with baseball.
Real quick, next week, we will begin talking the AFC North.
Yeah. Yes. Might not be next week. Might be the week after. We'll see how scheduling happens. I'm going to be in Florida.
Oh, that's right.
We'll see. Right. The Wi-Fi is probably going to be fine, so I could, in theory, do it while I'm there.
Okay.
But we'll see if I bring.
We may not have a video next week.
We'll see if I bring my stuff. Yeah. We'll see how the scheduling goes, and we'll see if we can get to it. But
if not, our next video we will start the AFC North.
Yeah, we'll start the AFC North
with team breakdowns.
We'll talk baseball because that'll give us time to actually bring you genuine stuff.
Genuine content. Again, not random shit I know.
Yeah. But that's pretty much where we're at.
Okay.
That's for next week. But yeah, like, subscribe, comment. If you have another request, if anyone else has a request, let us know.
Keep them coming. Let us know if you think NFL players should be allowed to play in flag football.
Yeah.
The great debate that began the episode.
Yeah. And once again, we rarely disagree. So when we do, you gotta take advantage.
It's not often. Yeah. So tell us what y'all think.
Prove one of us right. But yeah, that's pretty much. But yeah, I think that's it for this week.
Awesome.
All that being said, I've been Brendan,
And I've been Dallas.
and thank y'all.